Hello and Mingalaba, I am Henry Zin. Welcome to Myanmar Today. Our top stories and reports. Launch ceremony of Yangon Region Earthquake Preparedness and Response Plan. Pidong Zuluto's discussion on report of the Joint Committee on Constitutional Amendment. The 92nd anniversary of Chinese People's Liberation Army. Myanmar-Japan Resource Trade and Investment Expo to be held in October. Before we get to the reports, let's have a look at the latest local news. Vice President U Henry Van Theo said on Tuesday that the government needs reliable statistics in formulating development policies of the country. The Ministry of Planning and Finance hosted a meeting of the Data Accuracy and Quality of Statistics Committee in Naypyidaw, attended by the union ministers, regional ministers and officials. To make the present liberal statistical system stronger, Myanmar enacted the Statistics Law on January 22nd this year, and the draft for bylaw has been submitted to the Office of the Union Attorney General. Meanwhile, the Central Statistical Organization was implementing the National Strategy for the Development of Statistics by keeping the NSDS's action plan as a living document. Myanmar has issued a report on main index in June last year and a report on poverty in June this year based on the data in 2017. The Vice President also said it was important to ensure that the statistics were correct and consistent and that the relevant committees at the states and regions were to collect updated and quality statistics. Commander-in-Chief of Defence Services Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, who is already in India, called on India's Prime Minister and Chair of the National Security Council Narendra Modi on Monday at the latter's residence. At the meeting, discussions were made on matters regarding expressing gratitude for Myanmar's cooperation to maintain peace and stability in the border regions, promotion of bilateral cooperative measures and cooperation between the two Damodars, providing more assistance for empowerment of Myanmar's Damodar and the status of bilateral cooperation and peace and stability of the Rakhine State. Senior General Min Aung Hlaing then held separate talks with India's National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister, Deputy Minister of Defence, Army Chief General and Chief of Indian Navy Admiral, and discussed matters on strengthening bilateral friendship and friendship between the two armed forces, cooperative measures for promoting peace and stability of the border areas, cooperation being carried out for the socio-economic development of the ethnic races and people in the border areas, cooperation as a good neighbouring country in accordance with India's Act East policy, and cooperation with countries in the Indian Ocean for the security of the Indian Ocean. Meeting on financial collaboration between Central Banks of Myanmar and Thailand was held at Central Bank of Myanmar in Naypyidaw on Tuesday. During the meeting, concerned officials discussed financial collaboration which would assist the development of trade and investment, adopting a framework for comprehensive use of Myanmar Kyat and Thai Baht in border trade, creativity concerning financial matters, signing MOUs on payment system between the two central banks and challenges in implementing them. That's all with the local news. Let's dive right into our first report now. The launch ceremony of Yangon Region Earthquake Preparedness and Response Plan was held on Tuesday at the Novotel Hotel in Yangon. The plan is conducted in joint collaboration of Natural Disaster Management Committee, UNDP, and is financially supported by the European Union Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid, and the ceremony was attended by Yangon Region Government Chief Minister U Phyo Min Thein. Thoda Suizin reports.
The launching ceremony of Yangon Region Earthquake Preparedness and Response Plan was held on 30 July at Novotel Hotel, Yangon. The ceremony was attended by U Phyo Min Thein, Chief Minister of Yangon Region Government, members from Yangon Region Natural Disaster Management Committee and its Work Committee, representatives from United Nations Development Programme and the European Union Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid, and invited guests. Myanmar is the country which exists on Rakhine Fault, so it needs to have awareness of the earthquakes. Yangon is located about 30 kilometers west of the Rakhine Fault.
လေနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးကြိုတင်စီမံဆောင်ရွက်ထားမှုတွေကိုပိုပြီးတိုးပြီးဆောင်ရွက်ဖို့လိုအပ်ပါတယ်ဒီနေ့
We need to accelerate the plans concerning the earthquake. We, regional government, expect that the launching of this earthquake preparedness and response plan can alert the citizens to have more awareness about the earthquake and knowledge about how to prepare for it. We want to have practical workshop in the residences, so this ceremony can alarm our community about the preparation for the earthquake.
UNDP Myanmar has been implementing the project called Building Resilience in Earthquake-Prone Areas in Myanmar through better preparation and response, which is the 2-year project being done under the financial support of European Union. Under this project, 2 plans have installed national and Yangon region earthquake preparedness and response plans. The plan for Yangon region is developed from the national plan.
Disasters also stall and even reverse many of the development gains and investments that Myanmar has made. And recovery from this disaster puts significant pressure on the country's financial and human resources. The drafting of the Yangon Response Earthquake Preparedness Plan began back in July of 2018. And it also guided the preparations of the plan that will be launched at the union level, at the national level. I'd like to congratulate the Yangon Regional Disaster Management Committee under the leadership of the Chief Minister for his leadership and success in the development of this plan.
The vision of the plan is to minimize the lives lost, the injury, and property damage in case of suffering from a damaging earthquake. The national project manager from UNDP stated about the purpose of the plan installed.
Yangon region is prone to earthquake, so it's important to do preparation to respond to earthquake. Both the citizens and the government organizations need to know how to prepare and take responsibility in the case of encountering the earthquake. This plan is launched with the purpose of giving the proper guideline, the procedures for the Yangon region, how to take response on the severe earthquake and how to prepare to do effective response.
Wu Winshui, director of Yangon Region Natural Disaster Management Committee, said.
This is the first step for Yangon region for the future procedures of natural disaster management. The preparation is important for all the committees to be able to take responsibilities. In the National Natural Disaster Management Committee, the Vice President Wu Henry Van Teyu is leading, and the union ministers are also participating. Moreover, the United Nations organizations, international organizations, and community have to cooperate to reduce the risk of natural disaster.
We have to practically apply the procedures of the plan installed so that we can conduct the strengths and weaknesses. Hence, we can upgrade the strengths to be stronger and correct the weaknesses.
That's all for now. This is Dora Susan from MI Radio.
That's a report on launch ceremony of the Yangon Region Earthquake Preparedness and Response Plan. Let's take a look at the weather conditions now in Myanmar, and then we'll check on the stocks and currency exchange rates right here in Yangon in a while. In Yangon, it's a little cloudy and a couple of soaking showers during the day and a passing shower or two in the evening. Otherwise, there's just an overcast at night. The daily outlook is around 28 degrees Celsius high, but it feels like 33 degrees Celsius, and there's a 68% chance of rain for the day. In Naypyidaw, it's also cloudy, but with a brief morning shower or two, then heavy showers during the day. However, overcast and a little rain during the night. The daily outlook is around 30 degrees Celsius high, but it feels like 35 degrees Celsius. 79% chance of rain for the day. Looking ahead, showers and thunderstorms through late Saturday night. In Mandalay, it's also cloudy with a stray thunderstorm during the day, but mostly cloudy and a stray thunderstorm at night. The daily outlook is around 33 degrees Celsius high, but it feels like 38 degrees Celsius, 43% chance of rain for the day. Before we move on to stocks and currency exchange rates, here's the second report for today. Luttur representatives discussed the report on the amendment of the 2008 Constitution submitted by the Joint Committee at the Bidang Sri Luttur on Tuesday. 21 Luttur representatives took part in discussing the report. Agajo will give us more details.
Luttur representatives on Tuesday discussed the report on the amendment of 2008 Constitution submitted by the Joint Committee. The ruling National League for Democracy, NLD, initiated an attempt to carry out constitutional amendment by proposing the formation of a joint committee in late January. The 45-member joint committee was formed to submit a report on the constitutional amendments. The report proposing 114 amendments to the constitutions was submitted to the Assembly on July 15th. Dr. May of Rakhine State Constituency 11 commented on the report.
The Joint Committee's report came up with 3,765 suggestions to amend, delete, and insert in Constitution. This shows the considerable amount of need of the ethnic people and the absolute need to amend the current constitution of the country. Both Tamador and government need to take into account the voice of all citizens. We are aware that citizens expect that the Luttur representatives to discuss the report and draw a draft bill to amend the constitution. We need a constitution which can leverage it into federal democratic country.
The proposed amendments fall into three main areas. First, to limit the president's executive power in the regions and the ethnic states, as well as in the judicial system. Second, to decentralize state power by granting a degree of autonomy to parliaments in the regions and states, allowing them to elect their own chief ministers and giving them greater decision-making power rather than taking instructions from Naypyidaw. And thirdly, beyond these main goals, there are some other interesting proposals, such as changing the current national flag to better reflect the country's aspirations since independence. U Aung Ji Thing, Luttur representative from Chang Song constituency, gave his comments.
If we amend in line with the Article 433, 435, 436, we will welcome and support this. It says any provision, not that the whole book may be amended. The amendment should be made in line with the law. We need to consider citizens' opinions, future benefit, holistic views, take future generations into account.
The NLD's proposed amendments cover almost all of the Charter's 15 chapters, and here are the touch on the main items. Article 14 renders the Constitution essentially undemocratic, as it guarantees that 25% of the seats in all parliaments shall be held by Tamador appointees nominated by the Commander-in-Chief. The NLD says this is against democratic principles but does not seek to remove it. Instead, it suggests amending it step by step through negotiations. In Chapter 1, Article 60 says the Union's consistent objectives are the flourishing of a genuine, disciplined, multi-party democratic system. The NLD suggests getting rid of the word disciplined, reasoning that democracy doesn't need to be modified. Article 59D is also among those most criticized by the public, laying out the qualifications of the president and the vice presidents. It states that they shall be well acquainted with the affairs of the Union, such as political, administrative, economic, and military issues. The NLD suggests changing the word military to security in order to enable a president to be elected without such a qualification. U Maomien, Luttur representative from Mingin constituency, gave his suggestion on the Chapter 3, Article 59 concerning the qualifications required for the president and the vice presidents.
Previously, it contains the elected persons shall be well acquainted with the affairs of the union, such as political, administrative, economic, and military issues. We have suggested amending military to security, and now we added master degree qualification so that we can keep abreast with the international.
Article 61C says that the president and the vice presidents shall not serve more than 2 terms, and this is in line with the international democratic norms. But the NLD goes further, suggesting that presidents serve not more than 1 term, which is 5 years. The Joint Committee's report listed over 3,700 points for amendment, deletion, and insertion of the articles in the Constitution. 21 Luto representatives took part in discussion on the report at Pidangsu Luto. This is Aga Jo reporting for Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on Pidangsu Luto's discussion on report of the Joint Committee on Constitutional Amendment. Let's take a look at the currency rates now from Myanmar's central bank. $1 is at 1,509 kyats, 1 Chinese renminbi is at 219 kyats, 1 euro is at 1,682 kyats, 1 pound sterling is at 1,836 kyats, 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,101 kyats, 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 365 kyats, 1 Thai baht is at 48 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 21 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,427. Silver is at $16, and Brent crude oil is at $58. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI is at 11,000, MCSH is at 3,350, MCB is at 8,000, FPB is at 24,500, TMH is at 3,050. And that's all on currency rates and Yangon Stock Exchange for today. You're still with us on MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can visit our website at miradio.com.mm and listen to our radio programs live on the website. If you're on FM, catch us on 96.1 FM in Yangon, 96.5 in Manalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. You can also download MI Radio app on both iOS and Android devices, so you can listen to our radio programs from anywhere in the world. Moving on to the third report. To mark the 92nd anniversary of Chinese People's Liberation Army, the grand reception was held on Monday at the Novotel Hotel in Yangon. Williamson reports.
On 29th of July 2019, the 92nd anniversary of Chinese People's Liberation Army was held at Novotel Hotel in Yangon. The event was attended by General Myak Thun U, Chief of General Staff, and Mr. Chen Hai, the Ambassador of People's Republic of China to Myanmar. From its humble beginnings as a peasant army, the People's Liberation Army has become one of the most powerful armed forces in the world. Under the President Xi Jinping's watch, the Chinese military has greatly accelerated the drive towards modernizations that started under Mr. Deng Xiaoping in 1978. In 2016, the People's Liberation Army embarked on the most radical military reforms in the history of the People's Republic of China. Speaking at the events, let's hear from Senior Colonel Mr. Xiang Shouwei.
Under the strong leadership of CPC, People's Liberation Army has walked from Jingan Mountain, undergone the long march, which is unique in the history of mankind, defeated the extremely ferocious domestic and external enemies, won the great victory of the Agrarian Revolutionary War, the war of resistance against Japanese aggression, and the war of liberation, and laid down solid foundation for the foundation of the people-owned New China. The grand reception held today to warmly celebrate the 92nd anniversary of the founding of the People's Liberation Army. On 1st August 92 years ago, the Communist Party of China launched the armed uprising against the Kuomintang reactionaries in Nanchang City, which proclaimed the birth of the new People's Forces, led by CPC and the start of CPC's independent lead of the Revolutionary Wars and the founding of People's Forces. So the day of 1st August, which had historical significance, became the Armed Forces Day of the People's Liberation Army.
In the early March of 2018, at the Annual Assembly of National People's Congress, China announced that its defense budget will increase by 8.1%, taking total defense spending in 2018 to 1.1 trillion yuan or $175 billion. Second only to the United States, which will spend $692 billion in the fiscal years of 2018. Despite China awakening economic growth, this was the largest increase in the 3 years, following the rise of 7.5% in 2016. People's Liberation Army has engaged in a sustainable modernization program for more than 3 decades since President Xi Jinping came to power. However, the pace and the scope of military modernization has intensified and broadened substantially. Seeing a strong military dream as indispensable part of his China dream of national rejuvenation, President Xi Jinping has made strengthening China's military power a top priority.
Deeply in the light of the changes of national security environment and the requirement of times on strengthening the nation and military, the 19th National Congress of the CPC has made a series of significant deployments and drawn a broad blueprint for the national defense and military development. Under the strong leadership of CPC's Central Committee, Central Military Commission, and President Xi Jinping, People's Liberation Army is marching unswervingly with firm determination to forge ahead on the path of strengthening the military with Chinese characteristics.
This is Williamson reporting for MI Radio.
That's a report on the 92nd anniversary of Chinese People's Liberation Army. Well, one last report on Myanmar-Japan Resource Trade and Investment Expo to be held in October. Two-day Myanmar-Japan Expo 2019 will be held on the 19th and the 20th of October at Yangon Convention Center, with the aim to develop business exchange between Myanmar and Japan in the areas such as resources, trading and investment. The event organizing committee held a press conference on Tuesday and stated that this expo will be the largest expo with a combination of industry diversity from several sectors, and it is also expected to attract more than 10,000 visitors during the 2 days. Williamson has the story.
Synergy Focus International will be hosting the largest expo with the collaboration of industry diversity, including banking and insurance, culture, education, employment, real estate, tourism, and trade and MSME development sectors. This expo will showcase and experience Japan in Myanmar, which brings Japan's investment, culture, education, technology, and jobs towards Myanmar to experience the future opportunities together, and the expo organizing committee is expecting over 10,000 visitors during the exhibition. The expo will benefit all the stakeholders, get to know and see the clear picture of business updates, future investment and development opportunities in Myanmar, dedicated to benefit the investors in terms of products, services, and brands promotion to the investors and consumers, explore Myanmar market and potentials, and build database and general sales leads the business matching. Japan-Myanmar Expo 2019 will bring Myanmar close to Japanese people, business firms, and build better understanding and relationship between the two countries. The event organizing teams held a press conference on 30th of July 2019 at In Park Royal Hotel in Yangon. Speaking at the press conference, let's hear from U Lin Jotun, the CEO of Synergy Focus International.
human resource We
will be having expo on resource, mostly human resources improvement sector. And we have sent invitation letters to Japanese companies in the investment sector. For Trade Expo, we will have networking program between Japanese companies and MSME group from Myanmar. So both countries will showcase their products, and through this we hope to exchange certain things with each other. And another important thing, as several companies in Myanmar are struggling in getting each human resources. So we will have a program on connecting companies and human resource through this expo.
Speaking on the important role Japan plays in Myanmar's economy and its growth, now once again let's hear from Ulin Jotun.
We have seen that Japan is supporting Myanmar in different areas in terms of development in Myanmar, and have several Japanese companies here in Myanmar as well. So there are other Japanese companies abroad which are collaborating with the local companies in Myanmar and do business together. So we are hoping that Japan will keep on coming to Myanmar for business purposes at the same time, and we also hope that Japan will keep on supporting Myanmar's economic growth.
This Japan-Myanmar Expo 2019 will meaningfully enhance the interaction and matching among the businesses, exhibitors, and visitors. The 2 days expo will be held in Yangon Convention Center in prime location of Yangon and host over 150 exhibitors. The expo will also offer fruitful opportunities for networking, creating new business partnerships, discovering new industry trends, and talent acquisition. Speaking at the press conference, now once again let's hear from Mr. Mike Chung, Director of Yangon Convention Center.
And this is a very good chance for us to have a show in between the Myanmar and Japan. This is a very good chance for the economic growth in the Myanmar, in exchange of the skill and some technology and some culture also. So this is a very valuable chance for us to have a more spectrum in our show, in our event.
Now let's hear from Mr. Shingoge Kodo, Chief Executive Officer of Trust Venture Partners.
Now we have already received some companies for upcoming expo, and we are hoping that the number will increase even more. As we all know, Japan is aging. The average age in Japan is getting higher and higher. As a result, the Japanese companies are moving to other countries and establish their companies in foreign countries. Therefore, we are hoping that the technologies from Japan will match the resources from Myanmar for mutual benefits.
One of the reasons Japan companies are coming to Myanmar includes Myanmar have younger workforce with 27 years of average age, whereas in Japan the average age is around 48 years. Therefore, the company needs a young and energetic workforce which is found in Myanmar. However, getting qualified employees can be a bit of concern for the companies coming to Myanmar. This is Wun Lin Sun reporting for MI Radio.
That's all the reports we have for today. Let's take a look at some international news. India is now home to nearly 3,000 tigers, a third more than it had 4 years ago, according to the latest tiger census. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who presented the findings on Monday, said the tiger population had risen from 2,226 in 2014 to 2,967 in 2018. He added that India is, quote-unquote, now one of the biggest and most secure habitats of the tigers. India is now estimated to be home to around 70% of the world's tigers. India counts its tigers once every 4 years. It's a long, arduous task that involves forest officials and scientists trekking across 500,000 square kilometers, looking for evidence of the tiger population. Mr. Modi said the results of this tiger census would make every Indian happy. In other news, An environmental group says about 6 million rosewood trees have been cut down in Ghana for illegal export to China since 2012. The rare species, which takes 100 years to grow, is mostly used to make imperial-style furniture in China. The report blames corrupt officials in Ghana for forging documents to allow the wood to leave the country. Ghana's Information Ministry has not yet responded to the BBC's request for comment. The Environmental Investigation Agency, EIA, said in a report that the illegal trade and felling of rosewood trees has continued despite a ban being in place since 2012 and which has since been tightened. And that's a wrap on Myanmar Today. Drop your comments and messages on our Facebook posts, and don't forget to catch Myanmar Today on radio from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m., 1 to 1:30 p.m. and from 7:30 to 8 in the evening, Monday to Friday. Thank you for joining us on MI Radio's Myanmar Today, and we hope you'll do the same tomorrow. I am Henry Zin. Have a good day.